Michael and his girlfriend Sarah were invited along with their friends Paul and Susan to a new restaurant that just opened. They won a competition on the radio and were very excited to be able to walk into a restaurant and order anything on the menu and not worry about the price. They were all students and didn't have much money to spare with all the expense of college. When they all arrived at the restaurant, they were admiring the outside of it. They heard a lot about it and knew it was very expensive, which was another reason them winning a free meal was a great win. When they sat down in the restaurant and looked at the menu, they appreciated more not having to pay as the meals were so expensive. They ordered their food and ate their meals and were really impressed. When it came to desserts, Michael was the only one to order Death by Chocolate. The rest ordered just plain ice cream. They relaxed after the meal drinking coffee. When they were finished and decided to go home, they had ordered a taxi, and while they were waiting, Michael saw a truck coming straight for him and screamed. He was blown off the footpath and thrown across the street as a chocolate ice cream truck ran him over.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster.
Michael knew he could open his eyes now because they would still be across the street, thinking he was ran over and killed. Little did they know this accident had been planned for months by a friend of his who was a stunt driver. The reason he faked his own death was because he owed a lot of money to the wrong people, and he had planned on telling his friends he was alive when it was safe to do so. They worried if his body wasn't picked up yet by a fake ambulance. That was a part of the plan. Then a real ambulance will arrive. But Michael didn't have to worry, because a sign pole that was hit outside the shop by the truck, saying fresh ice cream on sale here, fell and hit him on the head, and he was killed instantly.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares. See me right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt.
Thanks for watching The Assassin Rapper, and if you want to stay up to date on new content, then please subscribe and be sure to hit the bell to be notified on new content. Michael was trapped in a world that he knew he had to leave. It wasn't exactly a frightening, threatening world, but he knew it would be on the 666th day. He didn't know exactly why, but he knew with every fibre of his being that on that day his whole existence would end. He kept looking for a way out. He walked for what seemed like days and days through forests, and all he could see for miles and miles were trees and more trees, until he reached something else, something more strange, something different every time. There were magical kinds of beings, insects and horses, etc., even unicorns, but none of them were threatening. Still he lived in fear, dreading the 666th day in this world. The sky changed colour on different days. Some days there were even multiple moons in the sky, and various planets close by could be seen. It was day 665. Michael was in a high-security room in a sanatorium, where he had been since he started counting the 666 days. He was in there for his own safety. Since he had been locked up, he seemed to go downhill, especially in this room. The doctors couldn't understand why. They heard him scream over and over, different times, that he was going to die on the 666th day in this world. The doctors knew, of course, the room was empty, and there would be no objects in there that he could hurt himself with. On the 666th day, Michael was watching what looked like the Grim Reaper float up to him. Within seconds, a rope came around his neck and hung him. The doctors outside the room were in shock when they saw what looked like an invisible force lift Michael off the ground. And it was like an invisible rope hung him. By the time they entered the room, he had died. He was just floating in the air. And when they eventually did get him down, what they saw on his forehead sent a shiver down their spine. When they saw 666 carved into his forehead. Thanks for watching The Assassin Rapper, and if you want to stay up to date on new content, then please subscribe and be sure to hit the bell to be notified on new content. Tracy was 8 years old and had a habit of burying things in the garden. Her mom didn't really mind, as she used to remember when she was her age. She used to think she could dig to Australia, since it was cold down under. One night it was a doll she buried. The next night it was a teddy bear she buried. And it really upset her mom one night when it was a stray cat she was burying. Jackie, her mom, screamed when she saw the dead stray cat and asked Tracy where did she get it. Tracy said the devil told her to bury it. Jackie was very concerned and knew that Tracy had to be seen by a therapist. Jackie tried to find out, did Tracy find the cat or actually kill it herself? Tracy went through months and months of therapy, and thankfully she didn't bury anything else until one night. Jackie saw Tracy dig a hole, and she was amazed at how big the hole was. She said to Tracy, "Sweetie, you know you're not meant to bury anything anymore," Tracy said. "I know, Mother, but this is the very last thing I will ever bury." Jackie asked her what it was. Tracy pulled out a gun and said, "You, Mother." Thanks for watching The Assassin Rapper, and if you want to stay up to date on new content, then please subscribe and be sure to hit the bell to be notified on new content.